Tactical RPGs is a genre of game that I dabble in much more than my streaming or YouTube video history will tell you. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of my most played game genres in the past half decade. And today, I'd like to take you through a little bit of history, as well as some recommendations of games that I played just in the past year or so. And also some other tiered recommendations if you want something that's a little bit more tailored towards your gameplay style or your particular needs. But like I said, history lesson. This particular brand of tactics game kind of started back in the 80s with a game called Wizardry and another one called Ultima 3 Exodus. These games help set a baseline for gameplay mechanics and elements that are now common in tactical RPGs, while mostly focusing on a single position strategy with straightforward engagement options. This classic style of turn-based action is still being used in current games, with some taking lots of liberties with the definition. Moving into the 90s, now you take this developing genre and add branching storylines, squad-based combat, cutting-edge 16-bit graphics, and a lot of long nights falling asleep on the couch while doing some character sheet management, and you have games like Xenogears, Final Fantasy Tactics, and Tactics Ogre. This is where we give the big nod towards Yasumi Matsuno. Like a big nod! Yasumi is the game director slash designer slash writer, probably some other slashes too, for Tactics Ogre with Quest Corporation. Ended up having a falling out with the company somewhere during development, unfinished the game, 1995 game releases. Yasumi's like, I'm out. Later that same year, ends up going to Square Enix and ends up developing probably the poster child game for the tactics RPG genre, Final Fantasy Tactics. Now, since the early 2000s, tactical RPGs continued to build upon the gameplay mechanics and features set forth by these OG titles. And we ended up getting games like Disgaea, which introduced an insanely complex character ability system, and 7 sequels. And also saw the release of games like Valkyria Chronicles, another game with a billion sequels, which mixed tactical and action gameplay, and honestly is a pretty great animated cutscenes. It's actually one of my favorites, kind of offshoots of the tactical RPG genre. More recently, we've seen huge hits with games like XCOM and Mario + Rabbids, helping reinvigorate the genre with both old and newer audiences. Other genres are also starting to bleed their way into these titles with the addition of features like procedural generation, or they add so much storytelling and rich world features that you kind of forget that there's even a turn-based game in here. We've also seen more mainstream franchises jump on board the tactics train with Gears Tactics, and very recently Marvel's Midnight Suns with its own unique and really freaking cool approach to turn-based combat. Actually, a feature found in a lot of these games in this genre is the ability to assign AI or CPU control to a player character or even an entire squad, which is kind of a big deal when you need to grind levels for a new recruit or something before resuming the main campaign quest line. Just set that bitch to autopilot, let him go. Now, tactical RPGs are the perfect game genre for my constantly interrupted lifestyle, whether it's a kid or a dog or sudden onset sleep paralysis. There's always something getting in the way of my hours-long game sessions. It's impossible to do nowadays. Now, as promised, I have a handful of games I want to talk about and kind of focus on, and these are more recent titles. I have some long-term favorites, games like Fell Seal, even XCOM, Chimera Squad, I really enjoyed. There's some other borderline tactical RPG games. They're not exactly by the rules. Some of them are more deck builders, like Card Hunter, I really enjoyed that. Even Battletech, I played that for a little bit. Wildermyth, I've already shown video of that. There's a ton of games that are my fallback titles that I would just go back to and just log a quick game. For example, actually, Steam World Heist. This is actually one of my favorite and kind of unique takes on the genre. It's a side-scroller platformer looking thing. They actually have a number of games in the Steam World franchise, and each one is different, which kind of drew me to the title. They got this deck builder title, they have a platformer title. Yeah, Heist really stood out to me as a good casual one. But the first game I want to tell you about is a game called Fate Tactics. It was developed and published by Endless Fluff Games, released in 2020. It's on Windows, Xbox, it's on the Switch. And in Fate Tactics, a player controls a young woman named Peony who's on a quest to uncover the truth about her mysterious past and powerful magical forces at work in the world, all that good stuff. And I'm about midway through this game on New Game Plus with a million sessions in this title. I played this game so frequently and so often in a 3-month time. It was pretty much the only game I was playing, outside of streams. Now, Fate Tactics is a game that presents itself as accessible and shiny and cute and newcomer friendly and all that, but that's all veneer to hide a vicious elemental synergy system. Other combat influences include like astrology signs, weather effects, and even the day of the week. You have a handful of equipable slots that can augment, add, or completely change a character mechanic. There's this anytime refundable trait system that also unlocks character-specific special skills. There's also a crafting system that's pretty straightforward, but also critical to the game's progress, and a camping match game that can add even more buffs, which happens to be one of the 2 achievements that I've unlocked in this damn game, despite putting so many hours into it. Moving on to Symphony of War, the Nephilim Saga. This is a game that was released like mid-2022 by Dancing Dragon Games, and it's currently PC only with future plans to bring it to the Switch. Now, this is a very, very, very small developer group. Like, it's like just two or three people, and then maybe a couple people working social or something like that. I don't know. But it's a very small group of people. Like, the guy who develops the game is the guy who also wrote the music, which is pretty impressive, right? I mean, like, basically this guy said that he started out making music, and then he's like, I guess I'll make a game for this music. And he ended up making one of my favorite turn-based strategy games. And what's great about this, in this game, you actually command an army composed of squads. And within those squads, you can manage individual troops, then move them into a squad with other synergizing classes or like-minded individuals or whatever. And in each squad, you can also equip a handful of artifacts to add some blanket buffs to the team, potentially allowing you to make even more like specialized strike teams or support squads. The game offers a bazillion ways to progress your individual characters, including branching them off into different subclasses, of which there's something like 43. Now, a common thread with tactical RPGs is being able to take a nameless hired mercenary and evolve them into this storyless hero. And which is actually one of my favorite parts, because outside of the fact that I have a habit of like killing off like main story characters and all that stuff, but you get to take these nobodies and you get to create your own story with them. Like, as you look through these squads, I can see it's like I know what these guys' contributions were, and I know the specialization of some of these squads. So when I go on certain missions, it's like, oh yeah, this is my guy right here. This is my team right here. These guys are specialized in these departments, and they have done all these things. They have all these accolades and all this historical achievements and all that stuff, all for non-story characters. Oh no, don't, oh, they can't hurt the kids now, right? They're giving orders. Did he not get the message? What the fuck? Tactics Ogre, the OG. Developed and published by Quest Corporation in 1995 for the SNES and later for PlayStation and Sega Saturn. Just got a flawless remaster in 2022 that makes it almost indistinguishable from some of the best current TRPGs in terms of graphics and features, while still maintaining the majority of those layers and layers of character sheet customization options. In this game, players control a group of characters as they progress through a branching storyline and engage in turn-based battles on a grid-based map. It's one of those, this game does it by the book because it wrote the book kind of things. This game features a wide range of classes, each with unique abilities, stats, some really great weapon-based finishers, and a fuck ton of character sheet porn.
It's colder than a witch's teat.
I'm about like 75% of the way through the story, and so far it's rich. Like, it's got lots of personal connections, there's tons of character developments, where in Fate Tactics, I felt I had a personal responsibility to see Peony through to the end. In Ogre Tactics, the branching storylines and morality system made me feel like my choices and actions truly mattered and had an impact on the game world and all the characters within it. In my playthrough, I've actually killed off majority of the story characters, so I'm missing out on a lot of the VO that they added in with a little quips of characters kind of talking shit to each other back and forth during the match. You know, kind of missing out on a lot of that stuff. My character kind of leans a little bit towards Renegade and all that, but I have not seen any instances where it's like, oh, I wish I had that character here because it would have come in handy at this point or this point. Doesn't matter. I have all of my hired mercenaries that pretty much fill all the shoes for everybody that was actually important to the story that I killed off, but it still somehow just works. Just thinking about that game, I remember I spent several nights in a row trying to get through effectively what they call a dungeon, which is a series of encounters that you can't back out of without having to start all of the encounters over again. And I spent days and days and days going through, only to find out there was really no end. You get to the end, and there was no like big boss or anything like that. It was just supposed to be an area you're supposed to go and grind for resources. And I was trudging my way through that thing. And I lost so many characters. I had to hire a bunch of new people. It was just an absolute massacre. But hey, I made it out with like some extra gems or something like that. So if you're new to tactical RPGs and you want like an accessible way into the genre, games like Massive Chalice,
Calm down, keep us over.
Gears
Path
Tactics,
splits up. Pick your spot. Got cover in the middle, flanking on the side.
and Mario plus Rabbids, of course. If you wanted to just get like right into it, Divinity Original Sin,
Seven have mercy on your souls.
XCOM, Valkyria Chronicles,
So, we got ourselves a fat one and a stinky one. PU. It's a regular pig farm in here.
and if you're one of the salty vets that's looking for something new or recommendations other than what's in this video, I would start with games like Urtuk the Desolation, Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark.
Nah, let's try not to lose any characters this round.
Fights in Tight Spaces, or try your luck with any one of the hundreds of 40k licensed tactics games on Steam. Just roll the dice. Tactical RPGs have a rich history and is a genre both well-defined and flexible enough to continue to thrive in this game space. From their earliest roots in games like Wizardry, Ultima 3 Exodus, to modern takes like XCOM, Mario Rabbids, tactical RPGs offer a deep and satisfying gameplay experience combining strategy, character development, and immersive storylines. The genre tickles the chess-enjoying part of my brain without the need for beads. Now, there's absolutely some games that I left out, and I'm always looking for more in this field. Whether or not I stream or make a video on it is another story. I just want to play them, right? So feel free to leave some of your recommendations in the comments below. I'm sorry if I missed out your favorite game in the video. This is your opportunity to tell me about it, right? My name is Mike B, aka Phony. This has been a look at tactical RPGs. Thank you so much for all of you guys who are hanging out here. Watch this video to the end. Please feel free to share it, like, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you like this kind of content, I'm hoping to do some more this year. 2023, we're gonna try something a little bit different. Get back to some of the editing style, hosting stuff, all right? Have a good one.